Flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to have a moment of silence to remember the service and sacrifices of the armed service members who protect our nation and the first responders who protect our neighborhoods. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Abrahamson. Councilmember Quinn.
Here.
Councilmember Friedlander.
Here.
Councilmember Noon.
Here.
Councilmember Kelly.
Here.
Councilmember Brooks.
Here.
Councilmember Jednak. Vice President Jackson.
Here.
President Sackett.
Here. This meeting was advertised in the Daily Record and the Star Ledger, the official newspaper for the Township of Rockaway, on September 14, 2019. Notice was pointed on the official bulletin boards of Rockaway Township.
Council President, maybe recognize.
Sure we got.
If you could just make a mention, we have a special guest in the audience, real
Okay.
quick. We have Ashton McKeon, who is an Eagle Scout that's here
Okay.
for a project.
Okay.
And if you could just, Ashton, could you just stand up real quick? Just want everybody to recognize him. He's here for a Scout project, moving forward for what he does with Rockaway. I just wanted it to recognize him in
Okay.
the meeting.
No problem.
Thank you, Mr. McKeon.
Welcome. Moving on to the swearing in of Mary Noon as Ward 1 council member.
Come on, man. Go get sworn Yeah. Go ahead.
I, Mary Noon, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the office of Rockaway Township, Ward 1 council member, to the best of my ability. And that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey. And that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, to the government established in the United States and in this state, under the authority of the people, so help me God. You guys want to come down?
Hey,
I'll grab it from you after the meeting.
Moving on to number 7, approval of minutes, November 14, 2019. Do you have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Second. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Quinn.
Yes.
Councilmember Friedlander.
Yes.
Councilmember Noon.
Yes.
Councilmember Kelly.
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks.
Yes.
Vice President Jackson.
Yes.
President Sackett.
Yes, 7 yeses. Motion carries. Number 8, moving on to ordinances to adopt. Ordinance 19-25, an ordinance of the Township of Rockaway in the County of Morris, New Jersey, appropriating a Morris County Historic Preservation Trust Fund grant of $33,660 for improvements to the Ford Face House. Since this is a ordinance to adopt, we will, let's get a motion first.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
After that, we will have a public hearing, so if anyone wants to come up and discuss this, please do so. Come on up. Seeing none, we'll open it up to any council discussion.
Council President, I just have one quick question.
Sure, Mr. Kelly.
Since we're dealing with the Ford Fascia House, and it's, like I said, I don't know if anybody's had an opportunity to take a tour on the inside or as well as the outside to see the work. It's phenomenal of what the restoration's been taking place over there. Has there been a reach out for any volunteers to assist that may have talents that are necessary for some of the components of restoration? I know that there are many residents that are involved with the Ford Fascia House in Rockaway, and there's also some that are outside of Rockaway too that participate in a lot of the events that take place over there. But some of this construction, maybe we can get a little extra out of what we have for a grant from maybe some free service or volunteer or donated services from others that can assist in some of this restoration process. So just moving forward, if that's something that might be able to be put on our website, maybe our Facebook, I know I would definitely have an interest to offer something of that nature. I'm sure many on this dais would do the same, and maybe in the audience as well as in the township as a whole. That's all.
Thank you. Maybe that's something we can look into.
Something that we could look at, touch base with the Historical Society. We can touch base with the Historical Society and see if it's something that they want. I don't want to, we try not to encroach on the committees there and the group, but it is something that we can run by them, see if they want to explore that. That would definitely be doable.
Any other council discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Quinn?
Yes.
Councilmember Friedlander?
Yes.
Councilmember Noon?
Yes.
Councilmember Kelly?
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks?
Yes.
Vice President Jackson?
Yes.
President Sackett?
Yes, 7 yeses, motion carries. Moving on to number 9. Open to the public. Michael Lardy.
Michael Lardy, 19 North Brookside Drive. First, I'd like to thank everyone for having the ordinance that's coming up for introduction on the short-term rentals. Once we got the ball rolling, we moved very quickly on that, and I know our residents appreciate it. The Wawa, I know I bring this up all the time. Is anything going on with the Wawa? Is there any possibility that we're going to make any changes to what the township needs to do to make something like that project happen? I mean, it seems like an awful lot of free stuff we're going to benefit from by allowing that.
Mr. Achafano.
Council President, Mr. Lardy, about a month ago, after a number of meetings with representatives for the Wawa, and after more meetings with our engineer, our planner, the administration, the mayor, and Ms. Seeger, we sent the Varicchia company, who is the agent for Wawa, the township's suggestion or position with respect to the matter. We haven't heard back from them since.
Can I follow up on that?
Do we know what the position is? Is the township looking to try to make this work? But I know originally we said that our codes wouldn't allow that use of that property. We'd have to change a code.
Yeah, they are working on that.
Is that what we're working?
Yeah.
The position was a pretty simple position. Maybe Allison could state it more accurately than I can, and I rely on her technical expertise.
That's something up. Yes, can you, like you said, the initial application was they were looking to change the use category so that it would be a permitted use instead of going to the Board of Adjustment to seek a variance for that use. Since then, we have had many discussions, as Mr. Yatrapano has said, and we discussed a plan that would be most protective of the township in the planning realm. So looking at the area as a whole, updating our land use element and the master plan to include these planning elements so that we are not just concentrating on this one use.
Anything else, Mr. Alardi?
I'd like to follow up on that, if I
No,
could.
let's let Mr. Alardi finish.
Everyone have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, thank you.
If
Moving
I
on.
just may.
No, moving on.
Mrs. Ferrante?
You're not recognized. Ms. Sweet?
We had the emails with regard to Mr. Lardy about the Wawa. And
Ms. Sweet, you're
in
up.
that email, we had a position where we weren't
Lil,
interested in going
you're up.
forward with the Wawa.
You're up.
I was
You're
just
up.
wondering if that's
You're
still
up.
something that's
You're up. He's not recognized.
same.
You're moving on. You're up.
Mrs. Ferrante?
You don't have to answer him.
Oh, I
Ms.
didn't know
Sweet?
my name was so popular.
No, I was talking to Mrs. Ferrante over there. Thank you, Mrs. Ferrante.
Hello, everybody. My name is Lily Sweet, 1 Oakland Avenue. I would like to know what the taxpayers had to pay for attorney fees from every council member in the year of 2019. Perhaps you might not have it on hand now. I would let you investigate it. Let it be brought to another council meeting. But I think it's important that the taxpayers know what we had to pay all the year of 2019 for your attorney fees. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Seeger, is that something we can work on?
Specifically for all attorneys throughout the whole county, including the planning board?
Just for count.
Council member.
Are you talking about cases that were initiated by members of the council against the council of the township?
Council against council.
Okay.
And what about mayor versus council? Mayor versus council.
Mrs. Degnan?
The mayor instigated litigation too.
Second.
You want that as well? Not the mayor's council.
That's right.
Thank you.
Pat Degnan, 88 Valley View Drive. First, I'd like to thank Ms. Clipperton. I had difficulty pulling up the ordinances that are on tonight's agenda, and I called to tell her I had difficulty picking them up, and I couldn't even view them. And she was kind enough to send me them so I could review them before I came here. And I'm, as Mr. Alardi said, I'm ecstatic to see this one on the short-term rentals, and I thank the council for working so hard and so quickly for getting that one on. And I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Moving on to number 10, ordinances to introduce. We have ordinance 19-26, amending and supplementing Chapter 12, Building and Housing, with the revised general ordinances of the Township of Rockaway to prohibit the short-term rental of residential property. Do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion. I'll second it.
Please call the roll.
Councilmember Quinn?
Yes.
Councilmember Friedlander?
Double yes. Double yes.
Councilmember Noon?
Yes.
Councilmember Kelly?
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks?
Yes.
Vice President Jackson?
Yes.
President Sackett?
Yes, 7 yeses. Motion carries. Moving on to B, under 10, ordinance 19-27, an ordinance accepting the dedication of sanitary sewer line improvements to service real property located in the Township of Rockaway. Do you have a motion?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Please call the roll.
Councilmember Quinn?
Yes.
Councilmember Friedlander?
Yes.
Councilmember Noon?
Yes.
Councilmember Kelly?
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks?
Yes.
Vice President Jackson?
Yes.
President Sackett?
Yes, 7 yeses. Motion carries. Moving on to ordinance 19-28, an ordinance authorizing the conveyance of a perpetual easement to provide access to a certain dedicated sewer line improvement to provide sanitary sewer service to real properties adjacent to Union Turnpike and Route 15. Do you have a motion?
So moved.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Who was the second?
Mary.
She be here. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Quinn,
Yes.
Councilmember Friedlander,
Yes.
Councilmember Noon,
Yes.
Councilmember Kelly,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
President Sackett,
Yes, 7 yeses, motion carries. Moving on to number 11, resolutions. Resolution 19-204, resolution establishing the Township of Rockaway Council meeting dates for the year 2020. Do you have a motion?
So moved.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Please call the roll.
Councilmember Quinn,
Yes.
Councilmember Friedlander,
Yes.
Councilmember Noon,
Yes.
Councilmember Kelly,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
President Sackett,
Yes, 7 yeses. Moving on to number 12, any old business?
Council President, if I may recognize,
Mr. Kelly?
if there's anybody else that wishes to go first, though, they can take my time. No?
Anyone else?
I got two things. One, with old business, we spoke about it with Mrs. Seeger with regard to the issue at the library, over at the Hibernia Library in the area there, which kind of maybe created another additional question with that, of what we discussed. I did receive your email that you had sent me at 9:15 on the 19th, and then I responded to you at 1:33 p.m. of the same day, and I haven't received a response back from you. But my question I'd asked is that, you know, up north from Meriden Road and Green Pond Road, traveling towards Boonton, traveling towards West Milford and Green Pond, Newfoundland, we're all relying on septic and well. And the particular property in question, I mean, you did give me somewhat of an answer, but it didn't make any sense because of what you stated. There's other mechanisms that would take place that wouldn't allow any flooding coming out of the facility in the bathroom. Have we done any more further investigation in regards to if there's any obstruction in the waistline or if there was an issue with the cesspool and the ability for it to actually infiltrate into the ground?
I told you the answer, when I gave you the email, I told you it was the toilet bowl and the inside guts let it overflow, including the valve that you said didn't work. And I thought I answered you when I said it was all clean water that came out, so it was not the septic that backed up. And we do check that, and it is being cleaned out in the next month.
So we're doing a septic pump on that, or a cesspool pump?
Yeah, we will be.
We will. When's the last time that we did that?
Don't know. I asked Mr. Ferriello, and they said they do it depending on how much usage it gets, like every 10 years, 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, generally they have the rule of thumb, it's every 3 years is probably
It
more.
is, it depends on the usage, though. Like in my home, I do mine. When my kids lived with me, every 3 years. When my kids moved out, it was every 5 years. And that was plenty, depending on the outcome of when it got pumped last. And-
Yeah.
And the company tells me, so it varies depending on the usage.
Yeah, maybe, you know, we can consult with an engineer that does that, but we also have other properties that are north of that area that are relying on septic that are owned by the township. Do we have a maintenance plan for that too?
Does the township own them?
The DPW garage is north of the library.
Okay, then the DPW does what they need to do. I'm sure they do it.
Can you confirm that? I mean, you know what it is? It's just like if you have a car, you try to change your oil every 3,000 miles as preventive maintenance. And I'm trying to make an understanding that the same thing when it comes to septics and our cesspools and our tanks, that if we maintain them, it's a small fee. I mean, for a 1,000-gallon tank, it's $250
Correct.
over a 3-year period, over a 25-year to 30-year life expectancy. So it's really not much. And it would minimize the problem that we have, if I may. If there's a restriction with inside the cesspool, or there's a problem with a saturated field, or a problem with a tank, or even a baffle, if we were to do some preventive maintenance on that, we might not have had all the damage and in that library not being used for over a year.
It had nothing to do with the toilet bowl guts
I know that.
being
I know. I
need to be
believe that nothing to do
replaced. So nothing has to do with the other unless it was the cause from that. But we know what the cause was, and I told you what it was. And I'm going to tell you that we will take whatever you say into consideration.
Right.
But it's administration, everyday town, and I'm sure my staff takes care of what they need.
And who in the
And I'm
administration?
totally confident in my staff.
And I do too. I have the same confidence. Who was
Anything
the-
else on this?
Who was the
Talk about
responsible?
toilet for 3 hours? Anything else?
No, we're not.
Okay.
No.
You good? Okay.
Yes.
What's next?
The next thing that I have on or old business is the sewer for the Bowlbyville. If we've had any dates that are on that.
From what I heard, it seems like it's to be December 18th. December 18th. I'm not 100%, but from what I was told, it seems like December 18th.
Okay. And then my last thing would be, we mentioned it earlier, and unfortunately I couldn't get into it. I'll make it quick.
Okay.
The Wawa, I'm not sure if you were privy to some of the information, but there was an email that our township had sent over to the Retray Group that we didn't have an interest in moving forward with the Wawa. Now, today I was in Randolph and I saw a Wawa going up where Nigel's Candy was off of Route 10. And I don't know if, since we see some of these Wawas that are coming up in the areas, if maybe we would see what the other towns, again, Dover, they had their Wawa over there on Salem Street in Blackwell. Of course, now they have it on Route 10 West over in Nagels, just before Millbrook Avenue up that way. If, you know, like Mr. Lardy said, he didn't get an answer. Where are we at? I mean, one component, we have emails that say we're not going to move forward with it. We have response emails, very disappointed from the Retray Group.
Can you furnish those emails? I haven't seen them.
Yeah, you have them. They're CC'd.
Can you give me what you have?
I can give you what you already have.
I never seen any emails
Okay, I have.
either.
I don't remember them or recall. There's a lot of.
Yeah, Mrs. Ferrante was
There's
part of
a
those
large
emails.
volume. If you could send what you have to us,
Yeah,
that'd be great. Thank you.
yeah, no problem.
Thank you. Okay, good. Moving on to new business. Do we have any new business?
I do.
Okay, what do you got?
1 second. New business. We had an individual that is very active in the telemark community. I believe he's the 4th generation in the telemark community, which is Mr. McKeon, who I'm talking about. His father was a past president of Lake Telemark. His grandfather also was a participant and a heavy pillar in Lake Telemark. And young Mr. McKeon has presented to this council a proposal. He's got an idea. And he does write a letter to the council members. I asked the clerk to circulate that to the council members. She did via email. Unfortunately, Mr. Saki wouldn't allow it to be here in hard copy.
That's not your role.
I know, it's okay.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. You're used to doing that when you were the
This
president.
is for the scouts,
Okay.
our Eagle Scouts, and
Yeah,
who's
already
a
taking
volunteer.
care
If I
of
may not
this.
have any opportunity to be interrupted, please.
Okay. You got 3 minutes.
So, anyways, Mr. McKeon has this thing, and I don't know if you've read the proposal
Oh,
that
I
he
read
had.
it.
Great.
I read it, believe me.
And in the Wildcat Ridge, there's a bunch of egresses and ingresses in there to get access to the trail. And over on Meriden Road, I don't know if you're familiar, there was a structure that was there, and then there was a project, Meriden Estates, and that area they kind of preserved just to block any easement, or I'm sorry, any access of ingress or egress to that construction that was going on. But in that area, though it being an access to the trail, there's really no information that's there, like the other kiosks that are in the other areas of the entrances of the trail.
What's your point on this?
So what I ask is that we somewhat entertain and get involved in these types of projects of.
This is administration function, and they're already handling it. And Mr. Coward's actually right back there. Maybe Mr. Coward can come in. But this had, if you had read I'd read everything that Ashton had sent, and it specifically says, if you look on it, if you had read it, I don't know if you read it, but I read it. It specifically says, if you go to the back, Wildcat Ridge Eagle Scout Project proposal by Ashton McKeon, number 2.
Yeah, that's what the
If permits are required, is your Rockaway Township
Sackett.
responsibility to obtain.
I understand
This
what
has
you're trying
nothing
to
to do with us.
Please,
I'm
Mr.
looking forward to
Sackett.
seeing this project, but I don't know why you're bringing this up. I don't know what your point is.
My
but,
point is that
the
we have an
administration's
individual
handling
that
it.
wishes to
Can I-
participate in the community.
Sure.
I'm not done, I didn't yield the floor.
Mr.
Can
Puzio?
I interject for 1 minute?
I was to talk.
Mr. Puzio?
We're very supportive of the administration of the Boy Scouts and the Eagle Scouts and some of the projects that they put forth within the town. There's a process. I go to a lot of Eagle Scout Court of Honors. I've attended many regularly. I actually have one this Sunday, and they do a fantastic job. Boy Scouts, all the way through up to Eagle Scout, and that's not attained by many people. They do an excellent job. So from an administrative standpoint, as a mayor, we look forward to having these projects come through. There is a process. Whenever we're doing building on town property or things need to be, done, or that has to be approved, we have to make sure that we're allowed to do them, that, the particulars or the requirements of the land are met. I am 100%, as your mayor, behind the Boy Scouts, behind the Eagle Scout projects that come through our administration, but there is a process, and it goes through the administration. We take a look at it to make sure it's feasible and that we're allowed to do it, and we give it the go-ahead. That's the process that we follow.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And the biggest thing was that the individual wanted to come to the council to make the proposal, and that's what it was. I mean, I met with the family, I met with the individual. Mr. Sackett obviously didn't. He's creating his own false narrative in his mind.
It's
But that's what it was.
It is an
Had nothing to do with
administrative.
us.
Not a problem.
Had nothing to
You
do
didn't
with
want
us.
to circulate
It
anything.
is something that goes through the administration.
You're anti the Scouts, it's okay.
It is something.
Actually, I'm a former scout. I'm a former scout myself.
Please.
My dad was an Eagle Scout, and I'm actually going to Eagle Scout
Have a
ceremony
young man
Sunday.
here.
So you don't know what you're talking about, as
Ashton,
usual.
You didn't sub out.
Just trying to cause an issue.
Ashton, we're looking
Typical
forward
Mr.
to
Kelly.
working with you.
Trying to cause an
Not a problem.
issue.
You're
Stick
mischaracterizing
with
what you
Brian.
do.
Brian,
Moving on
the
to-
Eagle Scout, I don't know if you know that, if he explained that to you, stick with Brian. We're going to do everything that we can. The administration is going to do everything that we can to make your project successful. So we are behind you, and we will help you, whatever you need.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Moving on to number 14, reports. We'll start with Mr. Kelly.
Awesome. One thing I want to make a mention today. Today was Sergeant Iannelli's walkout. I wish that the administration let us know that it was taking place to attend, but I just want to make a few comments about Sergeant Iannelli. He's been a police officer for obviously 25 years, was in the Detective Bureau for a very long time. Detective at the time, Iannelli, picked up a cold case, if I don't know if many of you remember, back in 1982, I think it was October 1st of 82, we had a shooting in the mall. And it was a cold case. They never caught that person. And that was something that Detective Iannelli at the time had picked up and was running with that case. He's provided an unbelievable amount of safety and security within Rockaway Township through his tenure as an officer and then retiring at the rank of sergeant. And I just wanted some recognition for him tonight for his service that's there. His wife also works with the police department, and together, the team that they are, he's definitely somebody that can't be replaced from the service that he's provided. So I just wanted to have us to recognize him for everything he's done, and wish him the best on his retirement. I had an opportunity to attend the Ladies Auxiliary, the Hibernia Ladies Auxiliary at the firehouse. They had a craft sale that was there, unbelievably attended well from a lot of people, a lot of vendors. It was a great success. Council President addressed the sewer dates. We addressed the library that's there. I also wanted to congrats to Matt Branch, our Deputy Municipal Clerk. He got himself his RMC. And real quick, Mr. Mayor, since we had two other people receive their RMC, and you were so kind to give other individuals that received their RMC a $5,000 stipend, I don't know if we're going to do the same thing for those employees.
Everything is being looked into, and we also put a notice out on our website congratulating.
That's wonderful. And just, again, the stipend that you gave to others, I hope that you would mirror the same for the other two that received the same cert.
Thank you.
We also have a question with Denmark Road. I had spoken to engineering over in the county, which used to have Route 664 into Denmark Road coming into 513. They had given back Denmark Road to Rockaway Township. And I don't know if you can somewhat inform us about the potentiality of Picatinny taking over Denmark Road, Mr. Mayor?
There's nothing currently on the horizon with that. That's immediate. There are definitely things being looked at over the years. This has gone back long before this administration. There's nothing on the current, on the current horizon where that's going to be closed down. We've been in contact with the base. We've had a few meetings already to discuss that. There were some concerns that were brought to us about that avenue being, that Lake Denmark being shut down as an artery to get down to the southern end of town. There's nothing being done right at this moment. If there are any updates or there's any, the federal government has jurisdiction, obviously, and things work from the top down. We know that. If there are any changes or there are any updates or any information that I can put forth that I receive from them, we will do that. Like I said, I'm going to reiterate, at this time, there's no movement on that or any scheduled time that that's going to be closed down or anything that's going to be happening there.
One additional thing that I have is that we just recently had a request about business cards from our clerk. And all the information that we have on the business cards with our contact information and our spot, but on the back is always blank, and it's so inexpensive to do something on the back. What about additional information on there for either extensions or phone numbers for police, fire, maybe administration, recreation, so it kind of bypasses us for the need of where they really need to go. And on the back of that card, for peanuts, it might even not even cost anything to do that for a double-sided card to have that information. Would be wonderful to look at. I know we have a deadline, I think you said December 6th or 13th?
I was hoping to get a response from everybody by December 6th.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with what you have on there for me, if the example that you gave, but if there was additional information, it'd be a boilerplate for everybody on the back. And the last, I had the opportunity to participate in the Acola event that they had up in Sparta dealing with all the bodies of water. And I don't know if many people realize the amount of water that we have in Rockaway, but between the reservoir, we have Green Pond, we have Lake Adzonia, we have Lake Telemark, we have White Meadow Lake, we have Shamoon, we have Mount Hope Pond. I mean, there's a vast amount of areas that are on there, and there was a lot of things that they were offering with this great information seminar that they placed. The biggest thing is that it is the responsibility of the municipality to do any requests for grants. And the grants could be from anything, from paying for a study within our waters, projects that may cost the taxpayers or even like communities that are in there that some of them can't afford. Some of these studies are maybe a different avenue to better their lake area. It would still have to go through the township to actually request those grants. So if there's a possibility, maybe our administration or engineering can look into those abilities to access that money that all of the bodies of water in Rockaway could benefit from. You know, even the section of Park Lake. You know, we've been talking about that with regard to dredging or completing some of the area of the shoreline that's overgrown. So if we can look into that, that would be wonderful too.
Many of the things that you speak of, we have been doing for the past few years. Princeton Hydro was one of the people.
They were there.
Allison, correct me if I'm wrong, Princeton Hydro works with Rockaway Township. So they would be involved in filling out, partially, like I said, correct me if I'm wrong, they would be involved in the grant process. They work for Rockaway Township. So we have a relationship built with them already. So they are our go-to people if there are grants and things like that. And you know, we deal with them as a professional service.
The Hydro, Mr. Mayor, the Hydro rep was there, but it would still be the direction of the town to tell Hydro to move forward with that.
Of course.
Yeah.
And as I said,
The Hydro works for us. So.
We've worked on that in the past.
Didn't we just discuss this at the last meeting?
Yes, absolutely.
Anything else for your report?
Well, the last meeting was before the actual Sparta event, Mr. Gacciafano.
And that made.
And then the last thing is, I see that we're doing a lot of decorations over there at Park Lake. And are we doing a theme over there now, rather than here?
A theme in terms of we're putting up decorations there. Theme as far as.
Well, when we originally spoke about it, he said that you were in the works, you were going to have some information for us.
Oh, we're going to do you were talking about the Christmas event on December 6th?
Yes.
We're going to have that this year here at the municipal building.
And then is there anything that's going to take place over at Park Lake during the holidays? Because I just saw like a lot of the decorations and stuff like that going up that I didn't see normally.
Yeah, next year, we're going to be possibly doing something over there, but for this year, we're going to be continuing here at the municipal building. I'll let Ms. Seeger speak
If
to
you
that.
remember, I think it was Councilwoman Mrs. Smith asked us to do decorations at Park Lake, and last year we did the gazebo, and this year we extended it to the walking path because they wanted to make it look nice in town, and I think it looks great.
It looks phenomenal.
And Mr. Coward did a great job.
Yeah, and you know, just lastly on that, Mrs. Seeger, and then I'll be finished. With the attractions that we have with all of the decorations that are going up in the gazebo and the walk area there, have we done any more research about the ADA compliancy with the gazebo?
As far as?
Being ADA compliant?
As far as what? Do we have to change the gazebo to make it ADA compliant?
I'm asking you, the administrator.
Do
It's
we
something,
have? We
it's
do
something
not
that you've
have-
talked about.
We do not, I know you talked about it at the Capitol. We do not have to make it ADA compliant unless we touch it. unless we do any construction, additional construction to it.
So we have a CO now? We've located a CO that has been completed?
Back then, we looked at all our structures that we've done, and we are looking for records. We don't have a lot of records back then, but we know that it was inspected and everything, and I can't answer about the CO because I wasn't here.
But and I don't want to get into this lengthy, but there was a transition where you had to have a transition plan to make things ADA compliant or adequate for that. I think Mrs. Ferrante might be aware of that. And in the DCA in our state of New Jersey, there are requirements for that. So like, you don't have to
Correct,
reconstruct.
but not until you touch it or do anything.
No, it's anything that's sponsored by a municipality or a government in order to use it.
All right, well, why don't you send me that information?
I thought you already had it from our many communications for the last 2 years. I will do that again for you.
All right, thank you.
Lastly, happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Same to you. Mr. Quinn?
Yes, thank you. The Lions on December 2nd are having their annual giving toys away and feeding families that are in need in Rockaway Township. The Lions collected toys, we collected toys for them, and it's a very worthy cause. It's great to see these kids get their gift from Santa and get a nice meal supplied by the Lions. Again, that's December 2nd at the White Meadow Clubhouse. One of the meetings starts at 7:30. All right, today, part of the planning board assigned me to come to a meeting, which I did, and with engineering and administration, dealing with a DOT grant that we're working on, and hopefully a resolution will be before this council on the 10th so that we can put in for a grant and get some money back for putting in sidewalks and stuff like that. So that was a very interesting meeting. All right, that was the planning board. Moving on, let's see what we got here. The Parks and Recreation is closing up the Peterson Field. The kids all finished up their football program, and we're getting ready for the dinner on the 6th for the football players and cheerleaders. So I will be attending the dinner. I can't attend the tree lighting because it's the same night. Hopefully next year, moving forward, we can try to coordinate that a little differently. Then I am also looking at here, the Dial-A-Ride and Senior Services had their third function over at IHOP, and that was phenomenal. 2.5 buses of people throughout our town came and had a great time. They really enjoyed it. They called the department yesterday and today, told them what a great time. So we're looking at probably doing another one of those next month at another site. We're moving it around so everybody gets to see different portions of the area. Trying to stay with everybody, that are seniors that don't get out enough and get them to have socialization. Other than that, I wish everybody a happy and healthy, safe Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Mr. Quinn. Mr. Friedlander?
Yes. Okay, the first meeting I attended, I'll be brief on the library. 2 dates for people to write down. The quiet room was finished, and the library is having their ribbon cutting ceremony, which the mayor knows, on December 12th at 6 o'clock. So that's the quiet room that was built upstairs for additional studying. And it's a little early, but the schedule for the Spring Festival is April 26th.
What time on the 12th, Mr. Flynn?
What?
What time on the 12th?
6 o'clock. Okay. That's for the library. Next, I keep on mentioning this. If you're interested in history, you have to go on the website of the Historical Society. I attended a meeting Wednesday, and they partner up with Piccatinny's Historical Society, and that night, they talked about Farley, who happened to be the second adjutant who ran Picatinny Arsenal. He ended up going to West Point and graduated with Custer. It's interesting facts. And Custer was the last one to graduate in his class. He was ranked last at that time. So you find a little information, but it's very interesting. Also, let me get this here. So you mark this date down. They're having, the Historical Society is having their Victorian Christmas. If you're interested in that, that's Saturday, December 7th, 2 to 4. Okay, and that's going to have Ford Face House.
Who's reading that day?
Who's reading?
The other.
Well, the mayor is reading the night before Christmas, and then they're going to have Santa there, and self-guided tours with displays, mining museum room, a full day. Pretty good. That's Picatinny. Third, I attended the Substance Abuse Alliance. They're moving forward for the new year with all their 4 phases. But there's a couple special dates if you're interested in basketball. If anybody knows who Bob Hurley is, he happens to be one of the greatest high school coaches that the state has ever had. He's doing a clinic, 2 clinics at Copeland. So you can't play, but you could certainly watch. 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. On December 7th. And also, they're starting a plan. There's going to be a fundraiser for the Substance Abuse Alliance. If anybody's heard of Captains of Leisure, great musical group, they're going to be at the barn, and the date to mark down is April 29th. From 4 to 10, what the barn is doing is going to contribute a portion of what you order to the Substance Abuse Alliance. And then the captains will be there 6:30 till 10, probably, and play. So it's going to be, it's a nice fundraiser, and there should be a lot of support for it. And that's it.
Just real quick, Mr. Friedlander, off of the Rockaway Township Substance Abuse with Coach Hurley coming in. It's for the Copeland now has girls and boys basketball teams this year. It's new, and my daughter's on the team, so looking forward to that. He's be doing a little clinic, and when I explained to her who he was, she was got a little excited. So it'll be a great day. Looking forward to that.
He's unbelievable.
Looking forward to that. Awesome.
And have a nice Thanksgiving, everybody. Keep on forgetting that.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Looking forward to the tree lighting. I know the past couple of years, Santa's been going around on the fire engine, and there's been like a schedule. Is that going to happen this year? Does anybody know?
Each fire truck's website.
I will check with the fire department.
Okay, all right. And then I'm looking forward to the tree lighting, and looking forward to the football banquet, and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Mr. Brooks?
Thank you, Mr. Sackett. I'm going to keep it nice and short and wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving and safe travels.
Thank you. Vice President Jackson?
One quick thing. I attended a Lions Club murder mystery event at White Meadow Lake Saturday night. Lil was there, had a great time, great fundraiser. I think they raised a lot of money, and Barb Levy ran it and did a great job. It was a lot of fun. Other than that, happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thank you. Ditto on the Ford Face House, and ditto on the Christmas tree event here on Friday, December 6th. And I'm looking forward to attending Eagle Scout ceremony this weekend. And I want to wish everyone and their families a happy Thanksgiving. We have a lot to be thankful for this year, and let's not forget that. Thank you. Moving on to the mayor.
I just want to speak briefly about the Ford Face House. My first year as mayor last year, and I try to learn as much as I can. And I attended the meeting where we got the grant with Morris County. It was very interesting. I went down there with the professional services provider, which is very unique. The engineer who deals with the Ford Face House, it's very much a niche type engineer who deals with historical and buildings and reconstruction. And I had a chance to sit in on the board, the Morris County board that awarded us that grant, and that's for design features. It was interesting to watch. They pulled up pictures of the Ford Face House. We had to sit down there. Believe me, I didn't speak. I just observed. And our professionals and the Historical Society did a wonderful job presenting what they needed to. They awarded us our grant. So that's going to be for design features as we move forward. It's done in packages. Secondly, we also have on December 23rd at 7 p.m. at the municipal building, the menorah lighting for Hanukkah. So if you want to put that in your calendars. And we have the tree lighting, we said, is December 6th, 6:30. We do have the football dinner that night as well. I'm going to come here for a half hour and then go over to the football dinner for the Rockets. So I'm going to split up my time. So if you don't see me here for a great length of time, I went somewhere else in town. We also hired our 4th Class 3 officer for our school security initiative, and he's out in the field, and we welcome him. And we have one more to put in place, and then all 5 of our grammar schools will be covered. And just remember, we have at the middle school, we have a full-time, an active duty officer. So that's it. I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Have a healthy, good time with your families, and enjoy the time and the respite of being home. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Altrafano.
Thank you, Council President. First, congratulations to Ms. Noon. Second, I'd like to thank Council President Sackett, Councilmember Friedlander, and the Mayor for their assistance and support in connection with the short-term rental ordinance. I'd also like to thank Allison and Chrissy, who assisted me with my numerical dyslexia in preparing the ordinance. Third, happy Thanksgiving. I'm happy that it's a short meeting. Maybe we can all go out and use the extra time to check septics.
Ms. Seeger?
Thank you. I just want to say that I've met with all the departments on the budget for next year, and Ms. Palmieri and I will be working on putting all the numbers together, mostly Ms. Palmieri. And then we will be going over with the mayor, and the committee will be meeting on the automobiles too. And then I have Pete Tabbitt had a prior commitment tonight, so I have his report to read if you don't mind.
Sure, thank you.
The clinic held 305 flu shots were administered. Plenty of vaccine is left, so any resident is encouraged to contact the Division of Health and schedule an appointment to come in and get a flu shot. You can do that by calling them. The rabies clinic was held at the Road Garage on November 9th. 268 rabies shots were provided, 45 more in Victory Gardens. Our second clinic is scheduled for December 7th from 9 to 11. Residents are invited to attend. You don't have to be in Rockaway to attend that rabies clinic. It's for anybody. And I took advantage of the one on November 9th myself because I missed the one in my own town. And they're very organized and very smooth going through that rabies clinic. I didn't do it. The vaping, e-cigarettes, and addiction, they're going to have a health promotion on December 3rd, 6:30 to 7:30 at the Rockaway Township Library. And if you want to register, you call the Division of Health. The number's online. And Pete and I want to wish everybody a healthy and happy Thanksgiving.
Mr. Sackett, if I could just ask Mrs. Seeger just one question. Mrs. Seeger, the budget meetings that you were talking about with other department heads,
Yes?
was that noticed in the paper at all?
Yes, it was.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Palmieri?
It was also on the township calendar.
Yes, aside from what Ms. Seeger already discussed about the budget, I just also want to wish everyone a happy and healthy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Ms. Ferrante.
I wanted to give everybody an update on the county bridge project on Parks Lake. Thank you for your patience. However, they are still going to be going on for another month, 2 months in that area. They've concentrated on relocating the borough's water line and establishing that temporary bridge there, and soon they'll be starting on the structure itself. And then depending on the weather, the pavement after that. So I know it's a big inconvenience, but they're trucking along, going in the right direction. I wanted to provide a status on 2 large residential projects in town. The Pondview Estates, they've completed 8 buildings and 224 units out there, and they're looking to open up their clubhouse. So that's out there on Route 15. And then also the Hills by Lennar on Green Pond Road, they've completed 16 buildings, 16 buildings, and 124 units out of their 142 units. That's about it. We also have a construction project out to bid. That's Taylor Street Road improvements. Bid opening on that is next week, and hopefully that will go to construction in the spring. So besides that, have a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Mr. Dyer?
I just want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, and we do have a lot to be thankful for. So happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Thank you. Chief?
We're getting ready for the busy holiday season coming up this Friday. The one thing we have noticed the past couple of weekends is that we've had several car burglaries. Once again, these are breaks into the autos where people are leaving their autos unlocked. So once again, the old adage of if you leave it, lock it, we're going to save ourselves and you citizens a lot of heartache if these people are going through your neighborhoods trying the car doors. As was mentioned before, this afternoon we celebrate the 25th year retirement of Sergeant James Ionelli, who has served not only the residents of Rockaway Township, but also of Morris County as a sheriff's officer of Morris County before he was with Rockaway Township. But tomorrow we'll also be celebrating the graduation of 3 officers from the police academy. Jeffrey Artuerta, Thomas Walsh, and Robert Parks. We'll be welcoming them to the department tomorrow. Sure.
2 things. One on the breaking into the car.
Where's the location?
Basically, the cluster that we've seen is been in White Meadow Lake.
If they get into the car, they can get into the house by the garage door.
Correct.
True.
Secondly, with the bridge being out in at least 60 days, I know it's Rockaway Borough, but that intersection normally is very dangerous. I don't know if you spoke to the borough about having, at least during the rush hours, some kind of traffic control there, because everyone is double to Main Street now, because you can't come around. At least you were splitting the traffic before. But it's very hard for people to come out and make a left turn there and go down towards to a quick check. And nobody lets anybody in, and it's very dangerous. It's normally, now you have twice the traffic.
Yeah, I can speak to Chief Peppermint, see if they can't, increase their presence in the area. Other than that,
Thank you.
happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Knopf.
The road department is currently wrapping up some drainage projects that we have currently going on, doing some road grading and just getting prepared for winter. Other than that, everyone have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Mr.
Knopf,
Swan.
is that Split Rock Road and Snake Hill Road being done with the grading?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Swan?
Fall sports are just finishing up, and we're right in the middle of doing leaf cleanup and getting ready for the decorating for the holidays. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Garbrand.
Yes, first off, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Everything seems to be going well in water and sewer at this time. I just want to remind everybody that winter has arrived. So please make sure that everybody shuts off their outside hose spigots and make sure that your water lines are heated and or protected from freezing, so we don't have to deal with any damages to anybody's homes. And that's it for now.
Thank you. Mr. Coward?
Just wanted to finally remind everyone, December 6th, 6:30 p.m. is a change. Normally we run the Christmas tree lighting at 7 p.m., so just be aware of that. You've all covered the 7th at the Face House for the Victorian Christmas and then the Hanukkah lighting on the 23rd at 7 PM back here at the Municipal Building. And that's what we have going on in December, and just have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, and thank you all for your reports. We appreciate it. Make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Any mention about Mr. Shear?
Second.
No?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next meeting, December 10th. Thank you.